much. Well, Mother's Day is right around the corner, and we have a hot tip for you guys. Two Notre Dame grads started a floral company. It's Bouqs. It's an online floral service founded in 2012 by John Tavis and Juan Pablo Montufar. They're going to join us now from Ecuador via the Notre Dame Day video hotline. So the Chief Supply Officer, Juan Pablo Montufar. Juan Pablo, thank you so much. Welcome to Notre Dame Day. How are you?
Hi, Justine. Thank you for having me. I'm doing wonderful.
How did you and John meet?
So John and I met in 1996 as freshmen in Dillon Hall on the third floor. John was a finance major and I was a biochem major, and yet our shared love of music made us start a band that we like to think was great, but objectively was probably kind of horrible. And John and I have been friends ever since. I'd like to think that his friendship, one of the things that I got from him was to get rid of a stage fright that I always have. And as you can tell right now, I don't anymore. So I always like to thank John for letting me live up to my full potential.
You're doing fabulous. So why did you two decide to start this company?
So years later, we were always close friends, right? And so in talking about the flower industry, we had a discussion about how frustrating it was to be a consumer of flowers and a grower of flowers. So John had been purchasing flowers for his loved ones. I had been growing flowers, and we realized that there was a big disconnect between the grower and the consumer of the flowers in the traditional floral industry in the United States. And so that said, we got to thinking and we analyzed current competition and the market conditions, and we thought that it was right for a startup that had the best interest of the consumer and the grower in mind for a change. We started with very little investment and just a lot of trust, and here we are now, many years later and many millions of stems later.
So what separates the Bouqs company from other online floral services?
Well, it's a complicated industry, right? So I think that there's a lot of things that separates Bouqs from the rest of the industry, but I think that the most important things are from the consumer side. Our website and our strategy is fully transparent. There's no bait and switch marketing or extra fees or anything like that. So as a consumer, I think that you have the trust of knowing that what you see is what you're going to have to pay and what you're going to have to get. And from the sourcing side, I think that there has always been a tendency in this market to ignore responsible sourcing, meaning fair labor practices, good environmental practices, and there is absolutely no need to ignore said practices, because at the end of the day, what's good for the grower and what's good for the environment is good for the consumer. And so I believe that our customers understand that, and that's what has allowed us to grow at the rate that we have so far.
And you are based in Ecuador. Why did you choose Ecuador as a place to source your flowers?
So there's a couple of reasons, right? First of all, I'm Ecuadorian, and I am actually one of about 12 family members going back to the 40s that have gone to Notre Dame from Ecuador and that have returned to Ecuador. So first answer, I was here. But the more complicated answer is that I've always been attracted to floriculture in Ecuador specifically for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think it's a fairly noble industry, a very noble industry actually, to Ecuadorian society and to the Ecuadorian economy, especially to women. Floriculture employs about 70% women here in Ecuador. And second of all, the roses grown in Ecuador are the best in the world. And I know that I'll get a lot of disagreement on that, but it's just objectively true.
No, I like it. Bold. I like it.
Well, the fact that we're in the equator, right, and we get year-round luminosity, the fact that we have a superb skill set that is like 30 years in the making in terms of labor, volcanic water, altitude helps to grow bigger flowers. There's many reasons why Ecuadorian roses are known fairly so as the best in the market. And so coming into Ecuador to a business that gives back to the community and that you can stand behind in terms of quality to the consumer, you'd be a fool not to take that opportunity.
Can you show us some of these flowers?
Sure.
Okay.
So in my house, there's always flowers all the time because we're constantly trying to innovate in terms of new varieties and also testing for quality. So here, for example, I really like this guy. Beautiful. It's one of the first zinnias ever grown in Ecuador. having a little bit of trouble with its vase life, but that's my job to fix it. Hopefully my training in biochem and biology will help a little bit. Here, for example, is a very special rose that we harvested the other day. It's a little bright, but I like it because it looks like a peony, and it's very big. And it'll open up very beautifully in like a garden style. Also has a lovely scent. What else do I have here? The underrepresented flower of the world, Astromeria, or like Peruvian lilies.
They are so perfect, they almost look fake. I know they're not fake, but that's how perfect they are.
They are absolutely real. So I don't know if I should take that as a compliment.
It is a compliment, definitely.
So those are the flowers that I have for you today.
Thank you so much. This is such a cool concept. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us and all that you've been doing to establish this company in Ecuador. Thank you.